A pleasant good morning from the News and Public Affairs Department of Kingston News. Broom. This is a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, and I am Newton Tokba presenting. Stories following this morning, President Joseph Waka welcomes into APN Airline as Africa's largest carrier resumes flights to Liberia. National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority announces a signing of Memorandum of Understanding with Egypt aimed at improving the fisheries sector of the country. Liberia National Bar Association elects new corps officers to steer the affairs of the association. And away from Liberia, Joe Biden is set to begin his long-anticipated maiden visit to sub-Saharan Africa as U.S. President. These plus much more, all package. Let's take a very short break. I'll come back with John Sam Andrew for the news bulletin. Thanks for rejoining us. Welcome back.
Former President George Weah and political leader of the Congress of Democratic Change has termed as blatant lie. He disrespected Vice President Jeremiah Coon when he supposedly refused to shake his hand after he had gone at the late Senator Prince Johnson's house to sympathize and empathize with the family. Speaking on Face the Issues Monday night, former President George Weah said he rather greeted the Vice President with the most respectful greetings befitting of a Vice President when he placed his hand on his chest and bowed in humility to the Vice President as a sign of respect to him. Former President George Weah told the show he and Vice President Jeremiah Coon came a long way. They share a common bond, and he will never disrespect him as a person, nor the Vice President of Liberia. Former President Weah said he greeted the Vice President, or greeting the Vice President the way he did is one of the forms of greetings that is common with and amongst diplomats and political figures all over the world. He said the public just made up an issue that has no substance, but he understands because it is the society that Liberia has. President Joseph Boakai has welcomed Ethiopian Airlines as Africa's largest carrier flight to Liberia after a pause of more than 40 years. The inaugural flight landed in Monrovia Saturday with more than 200 passengers on board. The ceremony was attended by the president and several other senior government officials, including the delegation from Ethiopia. The Director General of the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, Emma Glasgow, has announced that NAFA has signed a memorandum of understanding with Egypt aimed at improving NAFA's operations. Speaking in an interview Monday, Madam Glasgow emphasized that the main focus of the Memorandum of Understanding is to enhance trade and facilitate public-private partnership in order to attract direct foreign investment in the sector. According to her, the collaboration with Egypt, a leading producer of farm fish, is expected to bring a significant capital to the sector, benefiting both countries, noting that the Egyptian government has committed to supporting the development of fish farming in Liberia. She highlighted their impressive production of 1.6 million tons of farm fish, generating $3.5 billion annually. Madam Glasgow indicated that the partnership is set to boost the growth of the sector. The Liberia National Bar Association has elected a new corps of officers to steer the affairs of the association. Those elected over the weekend will lead the Bar Association for the next 3 years. Over 500 lawyers converged in Gantanima County for the bar's 2024 convention, which culminated in the election of officials. Those elected are Councillor Bono Varma, President, Councillor Joao Lawson, Vice President, Councillor Elisha Fokiayo, Secretary General, and Anthony Atlaw, Yemin Williams, Treasurer. The president-elect, Councillor Bonavama, told journalists that he will work with his colleagues to achieve the bar's goal. He called on his colleagues to join them on board now that the elections are over, adding that they are aware that there are challenges, but with all hands on deck, they can achieve it. Criminal Court A resident Judge Roosevelt Willie had summoned District 6 Representative Samuel Enders for a conference in his chambers Wednesday at the Temple of Justice. Representative Enders' summons, according to our judicial correspondent, is based on a complaint filed to the authority of the judiciary by Stipendiary Magistrate William Segba of Pinsville Magisterial Court. Magistrate Segar's complaint accused the District 6 lawmaker of taking 20 of his personnel security, who are all males, on the premises of the court and disrupted the court's proceedings for about an hour. Representative Richard Coon is confident the Supreme Court of Liberia will rule in the majority bloc favor on Tuesday when it hands down ruling into the hearing from the split in the House of Representatives. Speaking Sunday at United Prayer Chain Ministry in Gardnersville, Representative Coon said the Supreme Court will legitimize him as the next Speaker of the House of Representatives on Tuesday. The House of Representatives has been split for weeks after a group of breakaway lawmakers claimed conflict of interest and widespread corruption by the Speaker, Fonanti Kofa. ECOWAS and others have tried resolving the matter, but both parties remain stiff-necked and adamant of any truce. Representative Richard Coon told the church once he becomes Speaker, there will be overwhelming developments going into District 11, stressing that the Speaker should be able to satisfy his people to a greater extent. The 10th Emergency Convention of the Movement for Economic Empowerment has ended with the adoption of a 6-count resolution aimed at governing the party up to the 2029 presidential and legislative elections. Reading the resolution at the end of the convention, the National Secretary General Jeremiah Pay disclosed that the delegates resolved, among other things, that MOVE remains a constituent party of the Congress of Democratic Change. Speaking at the program marking the end of the convention, Mr. Pay disclosed that Ambassador D. Maxwell Kimaya remains the political leader of the party. Meanwhile, D. Maxwell Kimaya expressed his regret that Unity Party-led government was fighting him for a job while he was sick, on his sick bed. According to the ambassador, the destiny of thousands of Liberians can never be in the hands of this government because it failed in all of its campaign promises just in 11 months of governance. The Ministry of Finance and Development Planning is set to hold a National Steering Committee meeting for the endorsement of the National Development Plan, focusing on the arrest agenda for inclusive development. The National Steering Committee meeting will take place on today, Tuesday, at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Congo Town. According to a release from the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the meeting will be attended by development partners, civil society organizations, the private sector, as well as all pillar and lead sector leads. The release said the National Steering Committee, which is the highest decision-making body of the national development planning, will be chaired by President Joseph Boakai. President Boakai has reaffirmed his government's commitment to enhancing health care for all Liberians. He made the assertion during the dedication ceremony of a newly renovated maternal ward at the Pipeline Health Center in Morovia Monday. The president emphasized that it is the duty of a leadership to provide opportunity for its people, while disclosing that 1 million syringes will be brought into the country to boost the healthcare sector. He noted that the government will support healthcare workers and acknowledge their selfless dedication to improving the lives of others. The president stressed that it is the government's responsibility to ensure these workers are taken care of, as they also have families to provide for. He urged young people to prioritize education and contribute to the development of Liberia, urging healthcare workers at the facility to take good care of the renovated Pipeline Health Center. A World Bank report has revealed that about 60% of Liberia's adolescent girls are out of school, trapped in early marriages, or sidelined from economic opportunities. That's according to a detailed analysis in the pathway to prosperity for adolescent girls in Africa. According to the report, only 40% of Liberian girls aged 15 and 19 remain in school, one of the region's lowest enrollment rates. The situation is even worse for rural girls, many of whom leave school early due to societal pressures such as early marriage and childbearing. Nationally, over 30% of Liberian girls in this age group are married or have children, making them more likely to drop out of school permanently or face limited economic prospects. This crisis, the report revealed, does not only jeopardize the future of these girls, but also strangles Liberia's development. Investing in adolescent girls, it said, is not just a moral imperative, it is an economic necessity, emphasizing that every dollar spent on programs to empower girls can yield over 10 times that in economic returns. For Liberia, empowering adolescent girls could significantly boost GDP growth by 2040. Five commissioners of the National Elections Commission are said to be undergoing investigation for their involvement in the recent disturbances that negatively affect the operations of the commission. An executive mansion source hinted. Some staffers of the commission recently staged several protests and disrupted operations of the commission. Their demonstrations were in demand of additional benefits. According to the source, the commissioners in question provided misinformation to the staff, and it led to the protest intended for selfish gains of those commissioners. The source named two of those as Tipla Reeves and Floyd Sayer. Asila Metal Liberia Training Academy has graduated its third batch of vocational students after completing 3 years of intensive studies at the institution. The graduation ceremony saw 56 students completing studies in different areas of vocational discipline in the third batch: 14 in diesel department, 14 electrical, 10 fitting, another 10 in ball maker, and 7 in advanced training courses. During the graduation ceremony, Anthony Lord and Deputy Minister for Administration at the Ministry of Education, Yeka Fokwa, commended Asilameta Liberia for the training program, which he said complements government's efforts in preparing Liberians to gain training in technical and vocational education. Minister Fokwa challenged the graduates to make use of their careers, following the trend of changes that come along with them. He said being innovative and able to get along with changes that come with careers are important factors to get one competing with others in contemporary society. The deputy minister also acknowledged that Liberia needs the graduates more than they think, and that they must persevere for success in their career journey to give the country the desired and expected outcome. And away from Liberia, United States President Joe Biden is set to begin his long anticipated maiden visit to sub Saharan Africa as U.S. president, but it comes amid uncertainty over future U.S. Africa relations as Donald Trump prepares to succeed him in January. Joe Biden's visit to oil rich Angola seeks to underline an attempt by America to focus more on trade and heavy investment in infrastructure, in what some analysts see as the most direct counter yet to China's influence on the continent. Joe Biden's choice of Angola is significant. He is the first U.S. president to visit the country, signaling a dramatic improvement in relations between the two countries.
Same as with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature against news boom. But let's take a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the real forces behind the news. Thanks for rejoining us and welcome back. And if you're just joining us, a reminder you're listening to King's FM Newsroom. Newsroom is the 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Stories we're following this morning, President Joseph Walker welcomes into Ethiopian Airlines as Africa's largest carrier resumes flights in Liberia. National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority announces the signing of memorandum of understanding with Egypt aimed at improving the fisheries sector of the country. Liberia National Bar Association elects new corp or officers to steer the affairs of the association. And away from Liberia, Joe Biden is set to begin his long anticipated maiden visit to sub Saharan Africa as U.S. President. These are stories we're following this morning on King's Newsroom. On this one, the Director General of the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, Emma Glasgow, has announced that NAFA has signed a memorandum of understanding with Egypt aimed at improving the NAFA's operations. Speaking in an interview on Monday, Madam Glasgow emphasized that the main focus of the MOU is to enhance trade and facilitate public-private partnership in order to attract direct foreign investment in the sector.
Technical is an MOU for technical cooperation. It focuses trade facilitation. It focuses on exchange programs that will affect the University of Liberia students. So for local farmers, we expect that some of our local farmers will go to Egypt to get training, to come and do a TNT, and Egypt will support Liberia in developing our aquaculture sector. When I went to Cairo, we signed an MOU for technical cooperation as the news that is for technical cooperation. We see that there's a lot of gap in this sector in terms of fish farming. There are knowledge gaps, there are infrastructure gaps, there are data gaps. We don't have enough data on the sector, and we don't have the strategies or the strengthened legal regime that is necessary to promote the growth of this sector. And so it's evident that we look forward, we go to other countries that are booming. For example, Egypt. Egypt is the lead in Africa in terms of producing farm fish, and Egypt is the third in the world in terms of producing farm. They produce 1.6 million tons of fish, and they generate 3.5 billion United States dollars. We want to. It's a good idea, right? Also tap into the wealth of experience and see also how we can attract some of their business tycoons in the sector to come in our sector, because our fishing sector, aquaculture sector, is predominantly subsistence fish farming, and that's why you cannot see the impact.
Meanwhile, Madam Glasgow is encouraging citizens to actively participate in the fishing industry. She disclosed that NAFA is currently working on a program to increase citizens' participation.
We want Liberians to participate in the fishing sector and take ownership of it. And so we are developing programs to increase Liberians' participation in the sector. And so this is why we are going into this fiberglass port to promote summer industrial fishing, which is cost effective. I have a good relationship with the President of the Republic of Liberia, and I have a good relationship with his cabinet ministers. Let's make this clear. The president is the president for the Republic of Liberia, and he is the father of the nation. He is also my father. If I did not have a good relationship with him, I won't still be occupying my. So the people of Liberia, I think Liberians sees the opportunity now, take ownership of their own fisheries sector, invest in it, and make the most of its untapped opportunities or its untapped potential. In the same vein, my technical team will be ready to design business strategies that are cost effective and that is aligned with our contemporary economic.
The Director General of the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, Emma Glasgow. President Joseph Walker has reaffirmed government's commitment to enhancing healthcare for all Liberians. He made the assertion during the dedication ceremony of a newly renovated maternal ward at the Pipeline Health Center in Monrovia on Monday. The president emphasized that it is the duty of the leadership to provide opportunities for its citizens while disclosing that 1 million syringes will be brought into the country to bolster the healthcare sector. He noted that the government will support healthcare workers and acknowledge their selfless dedication to improving the lives of others.
The responsibility of leadership is to provide opportunities for all. It's going to take a long time for people in this country to realize that this is not something to beg for. It is what you owe to your country and to your people. I've always said that if God wants for you to be rich, you can pick up a piece of diamond and be rich. But leadership is a responsibility for others who are not even able to speak for themselves. And those are what we want to get into. We are committed to making sure in the next couple of years, this country will move to the state of a responsible leadership that will provide for its people, that will make sure that Madam Minister, you know very well within the short time what we have tried to bring to this country. Even as we went to Italy the other day, there are 1 million syringes coming to this country. There are other promises that have been made, the goodwill for our people. We want to say this is a commitment we have. We don't need any thank you, anything. We believe it's a responsibility you gave us. When you elected us, you told us we want for you to rescue this country. We want for you to bring good to this country. We want to improve the lives of our people. We want Liberians to know that this is the time for the smallest person in this country. And you just heard through the budget, we are going to look after the healthcare workers. When people go to school, you invite to want to do business because they think they can work with banks. You chose to work to improve the lives of other people. And it's our responsibility to show you that you too, you have children, you have families to look after. And so we are committed. We're not here to get credit, not here for praises. We're here to serve you as we promised you would do. And we're committed to that. For every time, madam, there will be goodwill coming to this country for the benefit of the people. We are going to serve people. We've been promised X-ray machines. All of them will come to this.
Meanwhile, President Joseph Walker has urged young people to prioritize education and contribute to the development of Liberia, urging healthcare workers at the facility to take good care of the newly renovated Pipeline Health Center.
What I'm saying to the teenagers, don't get pregnant to go get a job. Please go to school. Yeah? Once you have to learn to build this country. We're not just saying this for the health, the education sector, the rural condition, the food sector. We want our people to feel proud of themselves, to be proud to be Liberian, not wishing to be anything else. God has given us everything here. We just need good managers. And I want to say to all of you, when you are administrator, please make sure that these facilities are maintained. Except for things you can't do for yourself. Like if there's no water here, let the authorities know you get water. But let the place look tidy. When you go to hospital, the first place is what's the condition of the hospital. You go to a hotel, you go there. When we open a restaurant at the Pan African Plaza, the late Arab But talk about you go to the U.S., you go to a restaurant, there are paintings by Picasso, by Michelangelo, but you see other restaurants, no painting, but the people are online. The people don't go there to go eating. They go there for service. And you come to a hospital, want caring people. But the caring people themselves, we must look after that. Our nurses will come to work maybe in buses to bring them to work. Want to take the day the nurses to look good, but we know that to look good, they need money to maintain that. It's something that we all have to do. And that's what I believe in. You give people what they're supposed to have to work with, and you make them responsible. And I want to promise you that this country is not going to move backward. People are going to continue to see good life, and our commitment day and night will be to make that happen. That's why we take good people like been spoken. We are doing it. That's why you see people like that's what we owe you. And I promise you, we will do it by God's help. And once God knows the desire of this heart, the good will come to this country.
President Joseph Boakai. Former President of Liberia, George Weah, and political leader for the Congress for Democratic Change has termed as blatant lie that he disrespected Vice President Jeremiah Cohn when he supposedly refused to shake his hand when he was being received by the Vice President, having gone at the home of the late Senator of Nimba County, Prince Johnson, to sympathize and empathize with the family. Speaking on Face the issue Monday, former President George Weah said he greeted the Vice President with the most respectful greeting befitting a Vice President when he placed his hand on his chest and bowed in humility to the Vice President as a sign of respect to him.
If people want to politicize what I did, then they can look at my activities around the world. Even presidents, I reached to them, I put my hand in my chest and bow down to them. It's a sign of respect. Okay. So there's nothing against Kuku. It's my little brother. It's my son. Kuku knows me very well. You know, we came from a far way. You know, I would not disrespect people like that. You see, Madam Sally, former president, was there. Mm-hmm. Did I shake Ellen hand? No, I hugged Ellen. It's a sign of respect. And also, you see, I don't play politics. You know, but I think Coach should be responsible for all what is going on issue. But now he should be making statements that look all the time. Either I put my hand in my chest and rub my stomach, you know, if he doesn't understand the respect that I'm giving, then it's left with him, you know. And so the person that we're talking about, Prince Johnson, we all respect Prince Johnson, you know. Remember, I was the leader for our parliament in the ECOWAS. Okay. Prince, we all work together. I respect him. And Prince Johnson married to my cousins, you know, for my cousin from Sasna is a Sasna woman. I want to go speak to her. Definitely, I want to go there because he have a family person with him, and he's my friend. Despite his political or decision that he took, you know, I still respect him as a person. So I got there yesterday. What Coach should be telling people no. He wants to come to me and hug me because he's my little brother. Okay. I'm the former president of the Republic of Liberia. So Coach's supposed to come and when I came out of the car, he's supposed to come to me and hug me, you know, chest to chest, you know, but he's still far away from me showing a hand. But I bow to him. He's the vice president. So I don't think anything wrong with that. But you know, our society here, people say anything they want to say. So I don't think it's an issue, you know. I respect you. Even pick up the call. My wife just arrived in the country. She just arrived in the country, wow. And I tried to rest. But there's no issue about what happened. If you look around, real leaders, they put their hand in the chest and bow to their friend and pass. You know, it's everywhere. Okay. You know, I see a lot of footage, images on the
Former Liberian President George Weah and political leader of the Coalition for Democratic Change. At this juncture, we'll take a very short break to be right back. Thanks for rejoining us. And if you're just joining us, a reminder you're listening to King's Newsbro. Newsbro is a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Stories we're following this morning. President Joseph Walker welcomes Ethiopian Airlines as Africa's largest carrier resumes flights to Liberia. National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority announces a signing of memorandum of understanding with Egypt aimed at improving the fisheries sector of Liberia. Liberia National Bar Association elects new court of officers to steer the affairs of the association. Away from Liberia, Joe Biden is set to begin his long anticipated maiden visit to sub-Saharan Africa as U.S. president. These are stories we're following this morning on King's Newsroom. The third emergency convention of the Movement for Economic Empowerment has ended with the adoption of six-count resolution aimed at governing the party up to 2029 presidential and legislative elections in Liberia. Reading the resolution at the end of the convention, the National Secretary General Jeremiah Pay disclosed that the delegate resolved, among other things, that MOVE remains a constituent party of the Coalition for Democratic Change. Speaking at the program marking the end of the convention, Mr. Pay disclosed that Ambassador D. Maswell Kemia remains the political leader of the party.
One, that we, the delegates, unanimously endorse and reaffirm that the Movement for Economic Empowerment MOVE remains a constituent member of the Opposition Coalition for Democratic Change, CDC. Two, that we, the delegates, unanimously endorsed, voted, and reaffirmed His Excellency Ambassador D. Maswell Akimaya Senior as the political leader and standard bearer of the Movement for Economic Empowerment, with the single most power to direct and oversee the party's political operation in future. Three, that we, the delegates, unanimously endorse amendments in whole or revision of MOVE 2016 bylaws and constitution, thereby adopting the MOVE 2024 revised bylaws and constitution to serve as guardians for the party. Four, that we, the delegates, have unanimously adopted a sustainability plan for the party, obligating all executives and partisan MOVE at national, county, district, and zonal level to pay more than membership due and other financial obligations to the party. Five, that we, the delegates, have unanimously approved that all partisans be in strict adherence to the party's disciplinary policy and code of conduct as means of keeping the party stable and peaceful. Six, that we, the delegates, have unanimously accepted and approved the decisions of the National Executive Committee on disciplinary actions taken against some partisans who are in violation of the party's code of conduct as provided for in the 2016 bylaws and constitution. To all honor our hands and seal in the city of Pittsfield, Mazzarello County, Republic of Liberia, on the 30th day of November 2024.
Jeremiah Pay, National Secretary General of the Movement for Economic Empowerment. Meanwhile, the political leader of the Movement for Economic Empowerment, Ambassador D. Maswell Kemia, has expressed regret that the United Party-led government was fighting him for the job while he was in sickbed abroad. According to Ambassador Kemia, the destiny of thousands of Liberian people can never be in the hands of this government because it has failed in all of its campaign promises just in 11 months of governance.
The children, the people of the Republic of Liberia, the 6 years is like more than the 430 years in Egypt. The 6 years is like more than the additional 40 years in the wilderness. But we are grateful to God that we can see light at the end of the tunnel. We have hope, and that hope is upon thee, the Lord, and the servant that God has given us. As it is, we have a hope. like it was said by Mr. Prince Mann, our national chairman of the movement for economic empowerment. It is not easy. Evil has beset the land. You can imagine why a Liberian citizen in prison of Kemaya was fighting for his life. An administration that is supposed to cater to its citizenry was fighting him for a job that they got nothing to do with. That they got nothing to do with why I was fighting for my life. They were fighting me for an ECOWAS appointment that they got nothing to do with, that doesn't concern them, as it did. But all in all, some people can be strong. Sometimes little things. Someone else who has been in my situation and in that bed, sick bed, at hospital while fighting, and they're fighting them for job, something else will have happened. My destiny is not in the hands of the current administration of the country. It is in the hands of God. And beside me, the destiny of the many countless suffering Liberians is not in the hands of the current administration. I quite agree, as my wife always says, 2023, God decided that there will be a divine break, divine vacation. So we considered what happened in 2023 with President. We are being temporarily referred to as formal as a divine vacation, divine break, so that God can be able to show to us, the Liberian people, that when I send you a leader who is leading you as it is, follow the lead. Stop false complaints. Don't listen to the false prophecies. Don't listen to the false claims. Don't listen to the false promises. Today, no car is getting stuck in the mud. We've been joking at our convention because we got people from Maryland, sign, all the counties, but they share their experiences.
The political leader for the movement of economic empowerment move, the Maxwell Kimian. The head of SATO's movement, Satara Dan, has clarified that the distribution of food items to Liberians during President Joseph Waka's birthday was not sponsored by the office of the president, but rather her organization. Speaking with journalists after the distribution of food items to hospitals, orphanages, and disadvantaged youth in Masurada County during the weekend, Satara noted that the SATO's movement celebrated the president's birthday using their own funds to commemorate his 80th birthday by helping people in need.
The cost of what we did today is $5,000 US. We decided to contribute $5,000 US to the president. So let me just clarify first that there's no president's office attached to what we did today. This is a personal initiative from me, by me, done through my team. We decided to celebrate the 80th birthday of the president because, it's so important to us to reach 80 years, especially for somebody who has wisdom, somebody who has the mindset of when you wake him up is Liberia, you're saying that Liberia, you're staying on Liberia. Everything about the president is Liberia. Someone who has set the pace for us to be better for tomorrow. So we said, but why we can't do this? It is important that we use our funds to celebrate the president's birthday. We went to Center Street to end with our brothers who will soon be rehabilitated. We had to go there and let them know that they are also part of the president's birthday celebration. The passion of giving. I have a passion of giving. If you know me, you know that there's nothing too much for me to do. So what is it that when I say I'm going to support somebody and then I can support them to the end of it?
Madadan further disclosed that SATO's movement organization used the sum of 5,000 United States dollars to purchase food items for hospitals, orphanages, and ghettos across Masurada County, noting that the funds are from the organization and not from the office of the president.
The cost of what we did today is $5,000 US. We decided to contribute $5,000 to the president's birthday and allow other people feel the party and have fun and sing birthday songs to end this day. I'm a businesswoman. You know the next birthday of the president is next year. I can tell you what will happen next year. Yeah, we have plans of distributing food, clothing, just whatever it is we can, give to our people to let them know that the president cares, to let them know that it is not, in fact, let me just say this to you. Liberians' mentality of just the president got to come face the road in front of your house, the president got to come do this, do this. We are trying to change the mindset of the people. If you are living in a community and you have $100 Liberian dollars, you're able to buy water for somebody who you know is in need of it, do it for them. So my thing is, for the counties, we started doing distribution of book parts, books, just materials for people to go to school. We did that in the western region. We're going now in the northern region in the next week or 2 weeks. And then after the Christmas, we'll be going in the eastern region. So there's a lot to be done.
Sataria, the head of Sato's movement, speaking. The national chairman of the Congress for Democratic Change has observed that Liberian government is creating aspiring board for constitutional crisis by itself for the removal of the speaker from the opposition community. Anthony Jangat Cole said the manner in which the events are unfolding in the country is an indication that the United Party is not ready to govern. Chairman Cole made the observation Friday when he performed the induction of the newly elected members of the National Executive Committee of the Movement for Economic Empowerment in Painesville. Speaking shortly after he was elected and subsequently inducted, the political leader of Modi Maswa Kimia reaffirmed the party's membership to the Coalition for Democratic Change with President George Weah as its standard bearer in 2029 presidential elections. Mr. Kimia cautioned members of the opposition community to begin preparing for the 2029 elections because as political party, it is government in waiting. The convention honored the theme envisioning and enhancing the present future for the movement for economic empowerment brought delegates from all over the country. Well, on that notice, I would like to go on this edition of King's Newsroom. Newsroom is a 45-minute news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. But just before we go home, let's remind you of stories we've been following. President Joseph Boakai welcomes Ethiopian Airlines as Africa's largest carrier resumes flights for Liberia. National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority announcing the signing of memorandum of understanding with Egypt aimed at improving the fisheries sector of Liberia. Liberia National Bar Association elects new code of officer to steer the affairs of the association. And away from Liberia, Joe Biden is set to begin his long-anticipated maiden visit to sub-Saharan Africa as U.S. president. These are stories we've been following this morning on King's News. Sam Andrews brought us the news bulletin. But just before I go home, I'd like to say many thanks to all of our reporters and correspondents who have been making this package of sources. But better still, join us this afternoon at 1 o'clock, at which time we'll be here with another edition of King's Newsroom. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is Newton Tupac. I present this edition of Newsroom. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye-bye.